I never imagined the day would come when my own home, the place I held together with years of patience and hope, would become the stage for the cruelest humiliation of my life. And yet that day began so quietly, so deceptively ordinary, that I almost missed the storm that was approaching. I was in the kitchen, stirring a pot of soup I knew my husband Daniel liked, hoping maybe, just maybe, today he would smile at me the way he used to. Before infertility turned into a silent war between us. Before every doctor's appointment felt like a verdict against me. Before he stopped holding my hand at night. I heard the front door open. But the sound that followed was unfamiliar. A soft giggle. A feminine voice I didn't recognize. And Daniel's low whisper trying to sound comforting. Froze. My hand tightened around the spoon. A strange feeling, like my chest was being squeezed from the inside, took over me. I walked to the living room. And there he was. But he wasn't alone. Beside him stood a woman. Young, glowing. One hand resting on her round belly. The other clutching Daniel's arm. As if she belonged there. "Emma," he said. Like he was greeting a neighbor. Not his wife. "This is Lily." The girl looked at me with a smile so sweet. Felt like mockery. And then, Daniel said the words that shattered everything I had been trying to hold together. "We're having a baby," he announced. His voice filled with pride. With triumph. As if he had won some twisted competition against me. "And I think it's time you accept the truth. You can't give me a family." "But she can." The room blurred. My ears rang. My knees weakened. But Daniel wasn't done. He stepped closer. His expression cold and almost irritated. As if my pain was an inconvenience to him. "Emma, you should move out soon," he said. "We need space for the baby. For my real family." My real family. Those words sliced through me. Lily rubbed her stomach, looking almost proud. And Daniel placed his hand over hers. They looked like a picture of something I had prayed for. Cried for. But never received. I wanted to scream. To throw something. To demand answers. But no words came. Just a deep, suffocating ache. Daniel continued talking. Listing reasons. Excuses. Justifications for his betrayal. As if betrayal could ever be justified. "You should be happy for us, Emma," he said. "You had your chance. Years of it. It's not my fault your body failed." My body failed. He finally said it out loud. The thing he had been holding over me for years. The thing I cried about in the bathroom when he fell asleep. The thing I begged God to fix. I turned away. My eyes burning. My heart tearing itself apart. But before I could take a step, a sound broke through the air. A loud knock at the door. Daniel frowned. "We're not expecting anyone." The knocking grew louder, urgent. I opened the door. And the world I thought had already collapsed. Shattered again. But this time in a way none of us expected. 2 police officers stood there. "Ma'am," one said. "We're looking for Daniel Williams." Daniel stepped forward, annoyed. "What is this about?" The officer handed him a folded document. Daniel opened it. And his face drained of all color. His mouth fell open. He stumbled back like the floor beneath him had vanished. "Daniel Williams," the officer repeated. "You're under investigation for fraud and identity theft. We need you to come with us." My heart pounded. Fraud. Identity theft. What was happening? Lily looked confused. "Daniel, what is he talking about?" Daniel didn't answer. He couldn't. Because attached to the document was something I recognized instantly. The signature of Daniel's business partner. A man who had been kind to me. A man who trusted Daniel with everything. I had seen that signature once. When Daniel left some papers on the table. I didn't think anything of it then. But now I realized. Daniel had been forging signatures. Stealing funds. Using his partner's identity for loans. And he thought he could escape all consequences. By starting a new family. and abandoning me before everything came crashing down. One officer noticed my expression. "Ma'am, your husband used your name as a secondary reference on some of these documents. We'll need your statement later." Lily gasped. "You used her name. Daniel, what is going on?" Daniel didn't look at her, or me, or anyone. He was too busy shaking. Too busy watching the perfect lie he built collapse in front of his pregnant lover, and the wife he tried to discard. When the officers let him out, he tried to reach for me. Not in love, but in desperation. "Emma, please, help me." I stepped back. For the first time in years, I didn't feel small. I didn't feel weak. I didn't feel broken. Felt free. As the door closed behind him, Lily burst into tears. She begged me to explain, to help her understand the man she thought she knew. But I couldn't, because I didn't know that man either. All I knew was the version of him I loved didn't exist anymore. I sat down on the couch, breathing deeply, letting the silence settle, feeling a strange calm wash over me. He tried to shame me for being infertile, but in the end, he was the one exposed. Not me. Not my worth. Not my body. A week later, filed for divorce. And as I signed the papers, I whispered something to myself. Something I wished I had believed years ago. My value isn't measured by motherhood, but by the strength it took to survive him. And for the first time in a long time, I believed it.